Daydream, I fell asleep amid the flowers for a couple of hours on a beautiful day. Daydream, I dream of you amid the flowers for a couple of hours. Such a beautiful day.
Welcome to the Friend and Flower Podcast, guys. This is episode number 50. Actually, number 50 with my man, Masonic Smoker, aka Edgar. Thanks for joining me, Edgar. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Well, we just this morning, I've been a big fan of you for a while now, but I just hit you up and we just got this got this together really quick. So I appreciate you just doing it on short time notice. But for people that don't know you, let's just jump in the very beginning. Where are you from? Like, how'd you get into cannabis? Just kind of the overview. And, how old are you, by the way, too?
I'm 28 years old.
Hell yeah.
Going on 29, July 31st, so in a couple days.
Oh, hell yeah. Almost happy birthday, bro.
Yeah, thank you, G. Where I'm from, I grew up on 111th and Avalon in South Central Los Angeles. The zip code might throw you in Watts, California, but I think of it more as South Central because it's 90059. But that's where I grew up predominantly till about high school. Moved to El Segundo in Vermont for like a couple of my high school years, and then when I turned 18, I moved to Compton, and I've been there ever since. Wow. So I've been in the hood my whole life. Grew up, with, the parents had their own little struggles too, so nothing too crazy, but we got it in. We had jet skis in the hood, so we were like hood rich, So not rich, but you get the point. Pops worked for his.
You got jet skis. Wait. You got jet skis in the hood?
Yeah, we'd be at Paris Lake, Silverwood Lake every fucking weekend, bro. But we lived in the hood, so
that's
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm sure you probably saw some crazy shit growing up, no matter what,
Oh yeah, man. As a kid, we were driving home one day, and I told my mom, I'm like, "Hey, mom, let's go to the mall. It's like a random hour of the night." She's like, no, we got to stop by your grandma's first. And whatever. That's the butterfly effect. The reason I described that, because that's the butterfly effect. If we would have went to the mall, we would have never got shot at on the way home. That's like my and I'm like, Mom, you should have took us to the mall. Like, we should have never stopped at grandma's. We would have never got shot at that one day.
Yeah, everyone was good though. Obviously, no one got hit. It was just
my mom got grazed with the bullet right here. Bullets were flying across, bing, 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 flying across our head. We're just in an expedition, probably like 6 kids in the car and my mom. Like, those guys were on a mission to kill someone, but God had our back that day.
Yeah, thank God that no one got seriously hurt. Yeah, that shit's always so like, I remember back, my high school, I'm from Seattle, by the way, and I went to school in the Central District, and there's like a couple different stories where you just literally see people just different, like, beef and shit, and like literally random families getting murdered just because they're driving past through. It's anyway, that's just
living in the hood. I've got home invaded before,
Yeah.
Some gnarly shit's happened, but It just builds character and makes us tougher. That's all.
Absolutely, that's a good way to look at it, man. And yeah, like, isn't LA like the home invasion is like notorious? Like, that's like fame. Like, it's like the land of home invasion, right?
I mean, as I don't look at statistics or anything, but I've personally been home invaded one time.
That's fucked, bro. I'm sorry. Yeah. So how did that? So I guess, when did you start to really get into? Because you're, we'll get into like products and stuff, like what what you offer in terms of like seeds, and then do you have your own flower line and stuff, or is that?
I just make the seeds. People, they go out of them, so they go like rec spots, that can put stuff into metric. They grow my gear and put it into places amongst themselves. I don't get wind of it, and if I do, cool. Like, that's their shit,
Yeah.
Like right here, I have some GMO sour dub Wilson that I made in Compton that can be sold like at Stravinsky's and shit. But I didn't grow it, but I made the seed. Yep. Someone else did all the legwork for it. But that's as close as you get to finding Masonic product on shelves at a rec market.
Yeah.
It would be like a farm that grew it, and they handled all that by themselves.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So I guess, when did you first start getting into breeding and seeds? And
I would like to say around the last chalice that they had. Like that's when I like went home and I brought 2 packs with me, and I'm like, I'm gonna. And a little bit after that, I had the male and the female, and that's when it kind of all clicked. So
Was that like
whenever
2018 or something, right? The last chalice.
like that, whenever the papaya femmes and the Tropicana F2 hit the scene, that's when like shit got a little bit more serious. Prior to that, I was like messing with seeds, but like I was just like putting eggs in basket that I didn't know I was gonna stay in, you know?
Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah. Yeah, so like I'm still learning all about like I'm like a newbie when it comes to like genetics and stuff. Like I did that piece on compound genetics, so I learned a ton about it. But like I think 2017 is when he like the F2, is it the F2 apricot, is that you're talking about, or the or no?
Well, I mean, just chalice in general. I like to
Yeah,
use events as a marker because then I'm just jumping everywhere. So
yeah,
chalice, you know, that was the day I believe that Oni dropped uh, a bunch of dope shit in LA, and that was like when that was my building blocks for Wilson, which is banana OG papaya Tropicana F2.
okay, hell yeah, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm still learning with all the reading stuff. I'm way behind. I'm learning, but that's super dope. So you weren't really, you didn't know for sure you're gonna go down this path, and then eventually some things kind of came into place, and you saw fate kind of, you took the
So I
yeah.
would always go in the backyard for myself to have weed and make a little money. Like I would grow 10 pounds, 20 pounds, you know, every harvest. And one time I had a Mel that Exotics was running at the time, which is the line Burner and Ivan had at the time together. And they were running a plant called Tropicana Thunder. And whenever they were running Tropicana Thunder, I was running it too. Different pheno, of course, different seed stock, and it happened to be a Mel. And I'm all like, damn, like Burner likes it. Everybody else has to like it, you know. I'm just like riding that wave, riding that hype, riding that vision. So I had a Mel of that same seed stock at my house in Compton. So I reached out on Instagram. I was like, hey guys, who wants to make seeds with this? Because I feel there's potential. One dude hits me up. He's like, I'm down. Not knowing that I'm going to be selling seeds, just doing something like out the blue. Like I had never done this before. And sure enough, 60 days later, you know, a whole growing cycle later, the dude's like, hey, I got those beans. I'm like, what beans? Yeah, remember the Mel? I'm like, oh, bring them. You know, and I'm just like, these are for sale. I just sold them right away. And people are like, ding, ding, ding. Like, I want them, I want them, I want them, I want them. And I'm just like, damn, like, so you're telling me I don't got to grow all this pot anymore and I can grow seeds, you know, and give them to the people. So everything just starting to click. And it made sense because growing tons of pot is nerve wracking. If I can
Especially in the
downsize,
hood too, like
yeah, if I can downsize that and have just as much fun, still play with the plant and still like do what I was trying to do, which was give myself weed. The seed brings money. The seed brings weed. You know, you trade seeds for weed. So I kind of found out my path, you know, and I have a good vision. I smoke enough. I'm not like closed-minded when it comes to other people's strains. Like if you say a strain name, I won't be like, oh, that's whack. You know, I'll just be like, oh, cool. It's for somebody. You know, it's not for me, but it's for somebody. And just like that, I'm a little bit open to everything.
I love
Literally
that.
everything.
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
that, dude. Something so, as I've been like kind of learning about the whole like breeder scene and stuff, I've been talking to different breeders and stuff, and it's kind of crazy. Like I've been told by a lot of breeders that like a lot of breeders hate each other. Like there's a lot
Oh,
of
it's
beef,
high
right?
school. It's cool over here. As far as me hating breeders, I don't hate nobody to keep it
Yeah.
100. That's a lot of energy
Yeah.
exerted. I
Which
might not agree with you. I might have poked fun at you, but I don't hate you. It's easy to poke fun. Like that's easy. That took me no fucking strength, you know, and it's natural. So I think we can all get along because we're all doing the same fucking thing, which is growing pot. It's just our egos get in the way and our opinions won't, you know, some people you just can't sway their opinion. Some people it goes further than that and it transcends growing and it goes down to them as a person and they could be like animal abusers, domestic violence, and that's why they might get shunned in the breeder community. But as far as the general consensus goes, like people just hate each other for their ideology.
Yeah, which is, it's kind of unfortunate. I fucks with your take on that. You're not hating at all. You may disagree, but that's how it should be. Regardless of it being seeds or anybody. Any clashing of ideas for sure. Hell yeah, that's super dope. So I'm curious. So going back to your kind of figuring out, hey, I don't need to grow a bunch of weed. I can now go into the breeder sector. Did you also like kind of feel like too, like you had like the ability to like impact a lot, not impact a lot more, but like, I mean, in a sense, yeah, impact a lot more because people are growing your stuff, right? Your genetics, right? So you're getting, so it's in a lot of ways, I've like looked at I never, like I used to just trap when I was younger. Like you would, if you were to ask me a few years ago if I'd be doing YouTube, I'd have laughed. But like I kind of realized like I started doing it for a number of different, I started doing media for a number of different reasons. But one of the big reasons I realized was like networking. Like right now, like we're doing two birds, one stone. I get to do a podcast with you and I get to meet you, right? So it's like networking. I get the sense that there's a similarity there with like breeders and stuff a little bit where it's like, is there,
It sounds like you're saying like I didn't know I was gonna end up here. Damn fucking Skippy. I did not know I was gonna be the voice of, I have 30,000 followers right now. It used to be 50,000. If they never would have erased it, Lord knows it would have been well on its way to 100. Safe to say, I have power and I'm just being as responsible as I can with it because I used to be a little bit, off the fucking walls. I'd post shit that was funny to me, but it might offend other people. And as you grow, you learn that that's not good for your pockets, and it's just not good for your brain either. So, live and learn. I didn't know I was going to end up here. I didn't know I was going to say something where I can have 1,000 people go, defend me. I didn't know. I just know that I just kept it me. And I've always had friends and shit in real life. I've always been cool. I've never been like, oh, don't. I've always been the guy that hangs out with everybody.
yeah, I love that.
Also introvert, but I can go hang out with everybody, say hi to everybody, and then just go back to my safe space.
Hell yeah, I love that. Yeah, no, yeah, man, with great power comes great responsibility, dude. And you're definitely getting a wave. What do you think? What do you think was like? Why do you think people have just been so like attracted to you in terms of like? Why do you think you got this following?
I think it's relatable. People can relate to me. They can relate to the hip hop he's listening to. They can relate to how he just takes care of his family. Simple things. I'm a regular guy. It's easy to be like, oh, I drive a Kia Soul too. Like Mace drives a Kia Soul. I drive a regular car. He dresses normal. He lives in a regular house. Things like that. I think that's what gravitates people. Of course, the humor. I can be a funny guy sometimes. I used to dwell on 4chan since I was like 15 years old. Like I'm well aware of how to make a cohesive meme, things like that. Like I know how to communicate, and that's why people gravitate towards me. Like I just talk well spoken now. It used to be worse. It used to be like I would talk because that's how I talk, man. I say the N-word here and there. Like I'm from South Central. That's how, and it's just like, nah, like that's not good for business, my G. You're gonna learn how to coach shift, you're gonna learn how to level up. And I still see people in my hood, like people that I went to high school with, and I'm all like, that's how they talk, dog. You can't do nothing. Like when they're like, what the fuck are you doing? Correcting me, my G. And just like, dog, like if you want to go out into the bigger world, there's some things you got to patch up, and that's one of them. So it's just learning how to talk to people.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, yeah. And definitely have perfected that in my opinion, dude. I think your meme game is super strong. I think your understanding of the internet, like I can tell you're super internet savvy. And I think that's a pretty critical component nowadays for like up and coming cannabis entrepreneurs, whether it be, for breeders or, you know, yeah, and I like the point like you made too, like relatability, right?
Yeah.
I love that, dude. Yeah.